Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute non-negotiable first step you've got to take before buying any enterprise AI, and that is mapping your value chain. Look, AI is moving insanely fast, right? But the reality is, most organizations are reacting completely blindly. They're grabbing new tools, throwing co-pilots at their teams, and setting up isolated automations without actually understanding the underlying engine of their own business. So today, we're going to break down exactly why understanding your value chain is the absolute prerequisite for any real AI success. Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap. We'll start with the value chain blind spot, uncover the hidden overlays, discuss the operational and cyber AI mandate, walk through the Modus transformation blueprint, and finally wrap up with simulating the future enterprise. Let's get right into it. So, why do so many of these massive transformations fail before they even get off the ground? Well, we have to start with a pretty harsh truth. Leaders are pouring millions into AI investments while completely blind to how their interconnected enterprise actually operates. Think about it. Modern companies sprawl across borders, departments, and massive product lines. Every single one of those has its own value chain. And yet, a staggering 90% of organizations literally cannot see how all these pieces fit together. This massive value chain blind spot, it's the exact root cause of strategic failure. You cannot transform what you cannot see. I mean, that perfectly hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? If you're only looking at a tiny fragment of your business, say just a single department or one isolated project view, adopting AI blindly is basically a recipe for disaster. When no one has that top-down connected view, you end up with redundant projects, conflicting strategies, and massive bills for very little impact. Which brings us to our first section, the value chain blind spot. Let's look at what this lack of visibility actually does to an organization. Honestly, it creates absolute chaos. Your business right now is highly fragmented, which makes enterprise-wide transformation literally impossible. You're likely running dozens, maybe hundreds, of overlapping value chains. Process A relies on System B, which pulls from Region C and Data D. But without a unified map, nobody sees that domino effect. The C-suite ends up making these massive critical decisions completely in the dark, which usually means your operational initiatives end up crashing into each other instead of working together. And when you start dropping AI into that kind of fragmented mess, you get high technical debt, hidden cyber risks, and frankly, zero measurable ROI. If you just slap a chatbot or a predictive tool onto a broken workflow without grounding it in real operations, sure, you might get a little surface-level efficiency, but you're probably breaking things downstream. Everybody is buying their own AI tools without any alignment, costs explode, and you fail to see any real operational uplift. So, how do we fix that? Let's move to Section 2, Uncovering the Hidden Overlays. Now, a basic process map just isn't going to cut it anymore. We really need to peel back the layers of reality here. To truly understand your operating model, you must visualize all of these hidden overlays sitting right on top of your core value chain. Think of it like a stack of transparent maps. You've got the roles overlay, who's actually doing the work, the systems and data overlays, and absolutely crucial today, the AI and cybersecurity overlays. A lot of companies might see one or two of these, but almost no one maps all of them to specific process nodes. And without that, your AI investments are just scattered to the wind. And here's exactly why manual mapping fails. There is a strict human cognition limit at play. The human brain literally cannot manually juggle 20-plus overlays across 30-plus global processes while trying to run daily operations. It's just not possible. Doing this manually with whiteboards and spreadsheets is painfully slow, incredibly expensive, highly subjective, and honestly, it's outdated the second you finish it. And that leads us directly into Section 3, Operational and Cyber AI Mandate. This is where the true power of a mapped value chain becomes so obvious. We're looking at the dual mandate of the modern enterprise, performance and protection. They have to evolve together. If you deploy operational AI, stuff that predicts and automates, without immediately pairing it with cybersecurity AI across your messy value chain, you are massively expanding your attack surface. Every new AI model, every new automation is a new vulnerability. If they aren't mapped together, your fancy new AI operations suddenly become the absolute weakest link in your security. Let's break this down a bit more to see how these paired intelligences work together on a process node. Take predictive AI, for example. Operationally, you use it to forecast productivity, but defensively, its cyber counterpart should be simultaneously predicting insider threats or credential misuse. Or autonomous AI. While it's busy automating your routine workflows on one side, it needs to be ready to instantly isolate compromised endpoints on the other. They are quite literally two sides of the exact same coin. To put that into perspective, take a look at this framework for an investment banking HR department. Here, they've explicitly mapped perceptive, generative, and agentic AI directly into their value chain. So while perceptive AI scans talent data to find workforce gaps, it's concurrently monitoring for unusual logins across the HR portal. While generative AI is drafting new job specs, it's also generating synthetic data for cyber risk testing. This is exactly what a secure, fully aligned AI value chain looks like in reality. All right, let's get into the how in Section 4, the Modus Transformation Blueprint. So if human brains can't map this impossible complexity, how do we actually do it? Well, through the Modus Enterprise Transformation Platform, we can essentially build a living digital twin of your operating model. What we're looking at here is an automated dashboard that maps the value chain and all those tricky overlays. It connects all your functions, regions, and processes into one dynamic system, letting you pinpoint the exact spots where operational AI can actually move the needle. And there's a very specific structural methodology to this. First, you componentize the operating model down to the process and role level. Second, you identify exactly which AI capabilities belong in each process. Third, you build out a quantified benefit case, modeling the actual impact on your costs, time, and cyber resilience. And finally, you run dynamic simulations. It's pretty amazing when you see it in action. Modus lets you literally filter the map to reveal exactly where specific tools like prescriptive intelligence actually belong. Here, the platform is filtering for AI interventions in investment banking, origination, and due diligence. Instead of just throwing AI at the wall and hoping it sticks, leaders can see the exact, specific node in their value chain where an AI tool will create real, measurable value. Which brings us to the most exciting part, Section 5, Simulating the Future Enterprise. This right here is the ultimate superpower for C-suite leaders, because once your value chain is mapped, you can use the Modus ETI engine to ask the big what-if questions. If we automate this specific role, what actually breaks downstream? If we upgrade this legacy system, where does the cyber risk shift to? You can model the exact impacts before you spend a single dollar. It completely removes the guesswork and boardroom politics, replacing it with hard data and absolute clarity. So you're really left with a stark choice. You can rely on expensive guesswork and fragmented AI tools, which leads to massive cyber vulnerabilities and broken workflows. Or you can build a unified, secure digital blueprint. With a mapped value chain, transformation stops being this massive, disruptive, one-off event. Instead, it becomes transformation as usual. It's continuous, predictable, completely secure by design, and most importantly, it delivers quantified ROI. As we wrap things up today, I want you to remember this. AI is not a technology project, it is an operating model redesign challenge. The companies that dominate the next decade are the ones that treat AI like the very DNA of their operations, securing it from the inside out. It's no longer just an IT tool. It is a core operating capability that has to be intentionally woven into every single node of your value chain. Is your AI a tool, or is it your new operating model? I'll leave you with that provocative thought to challenge how you approach your next big move. Remember, you cannot secure what you don't understand, and you definitely cannot transform what you cannot see. Start by mapping your value chain, get those overlays in place, and step into the era of truly intelligent operations. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.